Speaking of world domination and buying the world, what y'all think about this whole Doom versus Kang situation in Marvel?
Man, I think that Jonathan Majors got a bad rap. Um, you know, but
What
I
did
would
he
have.
do?
He got accused. Or go ahead, Jack. He got accused of beating up his girl, right? Like, and then they got the cameras, and it was looked like he was getting his ass beat by his girl.
Yeah. So what happened, from what I can, and I've done some research on, it, from what I could tell, is he originally got charged for beating up his girl, and then they said, oh, he sent text saying, don't go to the hospital, you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna ooh. So it made it look like he was covering it up. But later on, footage came out that supported his testimony of, um she was abusive, but he was stuck in love with her. um and in this instant, that night, she was getting real crazy. And she beat him, in a like a livery or an Uber. And this part's on camera. She was not letting him leave. He hurt her, sticking her back in the car and getting his phone back from her. Because he was getting his phone, trying to put her in the car, and he ran. He ran. This grown ass, big ass dude who played in Creed 3, mind you, ran away from a girl multiple blocks. Ran away from her because she was assaulting him. Uh, and I guess what happened off camera is they got back to their place because you know, uh, they were living together ish, kind of. She had a key or whatever, and the argument re-ensued. Um, Supposedly, and I personally believe this based on what I'm seeing and hearing around it. She then got physical with him again, and he defended himself, which left marks on her. The police were called. Um, this and that. Basically, what happened is, if you want to sum it up, he continued in a toxic relationship where she was the main aggressor, and he suffered for it. Um,
I mean that
they,
that shows you your double standard right there.
yeah,
Because if he's a woman and she's the man, like I mean they're gonna take the woman's side every time.
Yeah.
that's what happened. You know,
So with the Doom versus Kane, okay, I love Doctor Doom. Full disclosure, he's my favorite fucking villain. I would almost say of all time. I definitely top three. But to get Robert Downey Jr. to be Doom, I just don't get it. I mean, out of all the actors in the fucking world, it's like, unless he's a variant from a different universe, why the fuck is Robert Downey Jr. going to play Doctor Doom? I don't get it.
so
It's definitely gonna be something like that to where
I mean,
he's like a Iron Man gone bad or something like that.
yeah, it's clearly a variant thing, but here's the thing. Okay, let's say Jonathan Majors got the stick, okay, and they decided, okay, taking that into consideration, should they bring him back instead of bringing Doom? While I think he should have that forgiveness in movies in Hollywood, I don't necessarily think the Kang storyline was doing great either,
No, it wasn't.
I
in
didn't
my
hear shit
opinion.
about it. I heard about
So,
Kang the Conqueror, but I didn't see anything that was like about him.
The Ant
well,
Man movie
yeah, the Ant
and
Man in the Quantum whatever, and then he was in
Loki.
Loki, and he was in one more, I think. But man, they just weren't. They were not hitting. Um,
But
he was,
Disney period wasn't hitting. Marvel period
yeah,
wasn't hitting at all. None of their shit was hitting.
And then you say, okay, is Doom a better route? And then you see this shit with RDJ, and to be honest, and I know a lot of people are hyped for it. I'm not. I'm like,
I'm not either, man.
yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Listen, until Disney goes ahead and green lights Marvel to be more edgy, that Marvel phase is over with for me.
And why the fuck are we bringing him back? Like, that's not the fan service we want. We want fan service like bring us bloody Punisher and Daredevil, which they failed to do. They fucking. I mean, we're gonna see how this new series turns out, but from what I've seen
Right.
in She-Hulk, not hitting. And they didn't. They killed the original series, which I get why they did legality and logistic and whatever. But they're just not. I don't need RDJ back. I need you to write me good shit. Okay? You just took the most epic climax of 11 plus years, which was RDJ sacrificing himself.
Right.
And you just shit on that.
It means nothing now.
It means nothing.
And listen, you know what? If you're going to bring him back as Iron Man.
And it doesn't matter if he's not Iron Man. The fact is, we were never supposed to see RDJ in a Marvel movie again.
No, not unless it was like a prequel or a variant. But
even then, fuck that. The only one that should have ever had an opportunity to do some sort of offshoot is Captain America returning the stones. That's it.
You're right.
Other than that, those guys should have never been on screen again, ever.
I always feel like they should have reboot, man. I want to reboot.
Honestly, a reboot would have been a good idea, dude.
I've always wanted a reboot, and don't get me wrong, like I get it. You guys are, 8 phases in to this mega collection, but it's like reboot it, man. You got X-Men, you got Fantastic Four. Do it the right way now. Do it the right way.
I get it, because it's like, well, then what? Then we do the Avengers again?
The Avengers, in my mind, Avengers wasn't even a huge... Listen, first off, Iron Man was not popular in the comic books.
Exactly.
Robert Downey Jr. made him popular. As a matter of fact, he's left out of a lot of semi-good stories in Marvel until he was... And until he was a movie, in the movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to redo Thor. You don't have to redo all these stories we already seen. And that's the beauty about comics is they have so many.
You can pick whoever the fuck you want.
You got so many great stories. So to me, go ahead and start with reboot it with Fantastic Four. Because
the problem is, because the problem was that they need a Batman, they need a Bruce Wayne, and RDJ was that. But in the comics, like you said, Fantastic Four, Reed Richards, that was their guy, man. He was juicing up the money, man.
Well, yeah, it was like Captain America, Fantastic Four, X-Men.
There's ways to make that role happen. I just think I think they didn't want to let go of it because they were already, they had already established characters and they were making money. They wanted to make that next Black Panther. They wanted to make that next Spider-Man, that No Way Home. They wanted to make, so it's like,
which they did a great job on Spider-Man, right? If you're going to reboot something, you could go ahead and keep the Spider-Man in it and just build around that. I think Spider-Man was pretty good. And another thing too with these movies, you're doing these villain movies, and I'm sorry, Fox with all their Spider-Man villain movies, it's just
those are dog shit.
Yeah, I don't want to see those people unless Spider-Man's in it. Okay, like I don't care if you got Andrew Garfield as your Spider-Man, that's totally fucking cool. You don't have to have the Tom Holland, you know what I mean? But I need to have some Spider-Man in it. What pissed me off about Venom is Venom looks dope. I love Hardy as an actor. I love that. But no mention of even Peter Parker. Like he's not even like mentioned. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he's not in that universe. Different universe.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's why at the end of one of these movies, part of the Venom stays in that universe. I think it was the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
So that they could bring in a Venom to get that whole like iconic, you know, spider on him.
Yeah. No,
Which
you're right.
also like the Venom movies, I didn't like them. I liked the
No,
first one, but like I thought they should have been a rated R thing. I understand he's kind of like an anti-hero, but like
Look,
he's too much of a good guy in
I
these.
like I like I
Yeah.
like Tom
Yeah.
Hardy, and I kind of like what they were trying to do with him. But here's the problem with Sony.
They make
Okay,
a joke out of him. Out of Venom, I mean.
Well,
that's
you
true.
know, yeah.
But
I mean, listen. Don't get me wrong. Venom's a bad guy, and then
yeah,
later on in the comics, he turns into kind of an anti-hero thing. But that's because Eddie Brock kind of gets control of that
Yeah.
symbiote a little better, right? That's in the
and it
comics, but
almost
way down
seems
the line.
reversed. It seems like the Venom's the funny one and Brock's the hard ass. Versus, it's actually opposite
Yeah,
Well,
in
other
the
than him
movie.
being like, "Oh, like I need some brains," and he's like,
Yeah,
"No, that's
yeah,
a good
but
guy." Like, bro, come on.
yeah.
Like,
the
eat
the
some, eat
biggest
some
problem
fucking
with those
brains.
movies, the biggest problem with those movies is Sony. Okay, for some reason they think that they're making good movies when they're focusing on. See, they're not focusing on developing these characters as they are. Like they're trying to say, okay, how can we use this entity that we have the rights to and make a regular movie with it in it
You know,
versus making a movie for that character.
and if they were going to take these bad guys and have a plan, where they did like the Sinister Six, and I got six prequels of like a true to the comic origin story. But you got to mention some Spider-Man in that. I mean, you gotta have Spider-Man like at least in the background of those movies, and
Right.
then maybe I could appreciate it because then the final seventh movie you get Spider-Man versus all six of these characters, and then you go ahead and create yourself a blockbuster. But they're not even really doing that. It's like
Have
they're
either
not
of you
doing it.
guys seen Madam Web?
Oh, Madam Web,
I
trash.
didn't see that. I was gonna see it, but I heard how bad it was.
I tried to watch
So,
it. I turned it off after about 30 minutes.
so explain to me why Sony. Have you guys seen Morbius?
No.
I seen it and it was trash.
You see what I'm saying, bro?
And now
These
they're coming
guys
out with
are
a Craven.
making. Yeah, these guys are making movies like we're making comic book movies in 2002.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like, okay, you're gonna give me Craven right now, dude. Give me Craven the last. Like, what the fuck?
The last hunt, he was gonna say. You went in and out.
Oh yeah, the last hunt. Like you know, why don't you just give me that? That's what everybody wants to see. Everybody wants to see. If you're gonna give me a Craven the Hunter movie, give me the last hunt storyline.
Are
I mean,
are they doing like a straight up Craven movie?
yeah,
Yeah, that's the next one that comes out in a
So
couple
like,
months.
is he's like the main character?
Yeah,
yeah. It's all about
but
him.
what it's gonna be is it's gonna be he's the background character of a jungle story. That's what it's gonna be. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
What do
sure.
you
He's the
mean?
plot point. Meaning like they're gonna use the name Craven as a character, but it's not gonna feel like a Craven movie. It's gonna feel like your typical like movie like Indiana Jones or something or Jungle Cruise where they go to the jungle to find this ancient treasure and there's a protector and a tribe and a hero and you gotta run off the rich people trying to pillage the ground. That's what they're gonna give you. I 100% guarantee it.
Trash.
Trash.
Just using his name.
Yeah, they're just using his name.
You don't think they fit that into Spider-Man at all in the future?
How could you?
I mean, I guess
If
anything's
it's anything
possible.
like
Like
the
maybe it's like
last
an
three,
introductory film, like show you what he's about, make you interested in him, and then like throw him as a bad guy in Spider-Man.
so in Madam Web, the only instances where they showed Spider-Man, they meant nothing to the story. They were just there to sell you in the trailers. These last three Morbius, no reason. Like if this film follows anything like any of those movies, there's no way in hell that it ever connects to Spider-Man in any way.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fucking
Trash.
trash.
And so back to our original part. I mean, Doom. I think Disney's in trouble. I think the Marvel. I think it's in trouble. I think they need a reboot.
I think the MCU is doomed.
Yeah, There you go.
I don't think either of them are a better option to run with it. And I feel like even though Jonathan Majors did get the shit stick, I feel like we're getting a Justin Fields scenario here where
Yeah.
it's what if they didn't fuck up the stride?
Yeah.
But in actuality, people didn't like what they were seeing anyway.
Yeah.
So, speaking of not liking what we see,